Alright, so my name is Alec Bueller, and in this video we'll be looking at the learning objectives, first learning objective presented in Lab 13. This learning objective states, asks us to identify the layers of the gut wall and describe the function of each layer. The gut wall is made up of the mucosa, submucosa, muscularis externa, enteric nervous system, and finally the serosa. The mucosal layer is the innermost layer of the gut, and that interacts directly with the food or chyme, possesses epithelial cells that aid in absorption and in some cases even secretion. However, as stated previously in lab, I believe that approximately 90% of these epithelial cells are absorptive cells, so the major function of this layer is absorption of nutrients. The submucosal layer is where the glands and blood vessels reside. The major function of this layer is primarily transportation of absorbed materials through the mucosa, moving into the submucosa and into the blood vessels elsewhere into the body. This layer also possesses glands that secrete substances in response to stimuli presented in the mucosa layer. Moving on to the next layer, the muscularis externa. This layer consists of two types of muscle, the longitudinal muscle and the circular muscle. The longitudinal muscle is used to move food forward in the GI tract, whereas the circular muscle is used to contract, and kind of mix food together with digestive juices in order to aid in digestion of the food. Moving on to the next layer, the enteric nervous system is composed of the submucosal plexus and the myenteric plexus. The submucosal plexus innervates the submucosa layer to activate glands to secrete substances to aid in digestion and or to neutralize acid that may be present. The myenteric plexus, however, innervates muscle to form contractions to move and mix the food passing through the GI tract. So the major thing to remember with these plexi, probably, is that the myenteric plexus innervates muscle and kind of forms contractions that move food along the GI tract, whereas the submucosal plexus innervates glands to release secretions that aid in digestion. Moving on to the final layer of the gut is, in the outermost layer of the gut, is the serosa. While this is the least physiological layer of the gut, it does play a major role, anatomical role, as it kind of holds everything in place and kind of makes sure everything is running smoothly and provides a bit of protection from the outside world. All right, thank you very much for listening.